Before I begin this edition of No DQ&A video, I would like to send out my best wishes to Jerry the King Lawler, who suffered a heart attack this past Monday night on Raw. Definitely a huge shock to the wrestling world. Nobody expected something like this to happen. But in a way, he's lucky. Not lucky for having a heart attack, but lucky that it happened on Raw. It happened in a place where he could get immediate medical attention. And who knows if he would have survived if it happened somewhere else. So at least there's good news out there that he doesn't have brain damage. And I just hope that Jerry Lawler makes a speedy and full recovery, because he is one of the all-time greats. I mean, a lot of the younger fans, they only know him as an announcer, but Jerry Lawler, during his prime as a wrestler, was one of the absolute biggest stars of his era. Jerry Lawler is an all-time legend, and I wish him nothing but the best. Alright, welcome to No DQ&A video, youtube.com/NoDQCAW, and of course, NoDQ.com. You can find out the very latest about Jerry Lawler at NoDQ.com. I'm going to try not to date myself too much with information on this video. I'm just going to try to give my basic opinion about things. So, like I said, make sure you stop by NoDQ.com for all the very latest information regarding Jerry Lawler. We have WWE Night of Champions this Sunday, but obviously the big story is Jerry Lawler, and I'm just flooded with questions here, so I'm going to talk about Jerry Lawler and try to talk about Night of Champions as well. So with that being said, let's get right down to it. This is from C-Ray-Z. Aaron, with what could have been a tragic event with Jerry Lawler having a heart attack live on Raw, do you think that WWE will quit putting older wrestlers into storylines where they get physical or get put in matches, like Lawler, Flair, Hogan, etc.? Here's the thing about Jerry Lawler. I mean, I was wondering the same thing as you, but in an interview with Fox News, Michael Cole mentioned that Jerry Lawler actually passed all the tests that were required for him to perform in the ring. And going back a few years ago, there was a point where Kevin Nash didn't pass a physical and they held him off TV. So I think it comes down to just being able to pass the tests, and if you're medically cleared, you're good to go. And as I mentioned at the very start, before the intro, I mean, nobody saw this coming. Nobody thought that Jerry Lawler would actually have a heart attack on live television. It just wasn't something people were expecting. I could see WWE being a little more cautious now in the future, but if the guys are healthy, I mean, and they pass their tests, you can't really deny them. You gotta let them be able to go out there. And Jerry Lawler has been very active over the years and has remained active to the present day. So there's no way to know that something like this is going to happen. Just you can't predict something like that. This is from the Dr. 4. Hey Aaron, please answer in video. After Jerry Lawler's sad incident on Monday's Raw, do you feel that WWE will now try to find someone else to replace him full time, as it seems his age is now starting to catch up with him? Well, I assume you're referring to the announcing and not the wrestling. As far as doing announcing, that's not something that Jerry Lawler would have to pass a physical test for, I believe. So I think that once he's able to recover and come back to television, I think he'll be back. As long as he can show up and fly to wherever the event is and just sit there at the broadcast booth, I think that we'll definitely see him doing announcing again. But that's going to be up to him. Who knows at this point if he's going to want to come back. He might want to take some time off. You never know what's going to happen. But I think if Jerry Lawler is healthy and wants to come back, I think WWE will absolutely bring him back with open arms, no doubt about it. This is from SLTM Chris Rapp 101. Last night on Raw was a nervous wreck due to the King suffering a heart attack. Now that he might take off time for full recovery, do you see Jim Ross taking over for him? No. I think that somebody like Josh Matthews, any one of those guys will step in and replace Jerry Lawler for the time being. I don't think Jim Ross would want to come back to announcing under the circumstances. I don't think he would want to come back and take Jerry Lawler's spot because Jerry Lawler had a heart attack. I just don't see Jim Ross having any interest in doing that whatsoever. So, no, don't see him coming back. And like I said, it'll probably be somebody like Josh Matthews for the time being. This is from R. Walter 2011. Scary stuff with the King last night. Obviously, they probably won't work with him anymore due to health concerns. Before this happened, though, do you think WWE had plans to put the belt on him for a day or so? It seemed like they were mentioning it a lot lately. I don't think so. I think that they were using Jerry Lawler in the storyline with CM Punk to help get CM Punk over as a heel. I mean, what better way to make people hate CM Punk than to have him disrespect this beloved legend, Jerry the King Lawler. So, I mean, that was the whole purpose of that storyline, just to get heel heat on CM Punk. I mean, it seemed more likely like they were considering putting the belt on him back when he had that feud with The Miz earlier in 2011. I mean, that there was a time, I think they had the match at No Way Out, where I could have seen them putting the belt on Lawler, and I'm sure it was something that they had considered, because Lawler had never been WWE champion, and what harm would it do in having him hold the title for one day or a week or whatever. But they decided not to go in that direction, and same thing with CM Punk, like with The Miz. They were using Lawler as a way to help get heat on the top heel. So, I mean, that's really all it was. This is from Machismos. What did you think of the main event segment with Bret Hart, CM Punk, and John Cena? Punk was great as always, but don't you agree that this was Cena's best since post-WrestleMania Raw in terms of his promo? Yeah, I thought that John Cena was absolutely tremendous on Raw with his promo against CM Punk. You also have to consider all the chaos backstage with Jerry Lawler, and that made Cena's promo even more spectacular, I thought. And the thing about John Cena's promo is that when he first came out, he was getting a lot of boos. I mean, so was CM Punk for that matter. But John Cena was getting booed a lot, and when it was over, John Cena's promo was so good that he managed to get the crowd to turn in his favor. I mean, the people were into Cena at the very end of the promo. So I would label that a huge success. And him speaking in French, I mean, he did everything possible to get the people behind him, and it worked. And I thought it was really powerful, and it did build up. I thought it was a great build-up for the match on Sunday. But unfortunately, with the whole Jerry Lawler thing, I mean, Cena's promo got overshadowed a little bit, unfortunately, because I thought it was really good. And CM Punk was great as well. I mean, just really good stuff here. Both guys were at the top of their game, and it's just unfortunate what happened earlier in the show. This is from Maddie Dawn. What do you think about Michael Cole not commentating after the incident? And I thought it was quite professional. What are your thoughts? Yeah, I've gotten a lot of questions about Michael Cole. I mentioned earlier Michael Cole did an interview on Fox News where he talked about the incident. And Michael Cole, whether you like the TV character or not, you really have to respect the guy, because he was 100% professional here. He was a class act. He handled this situation better than I think anybody else could. I mean, he really did what he needed to do. He stepped up to the plate, and props to Michael Cole. He was tremendous there, and I really have nothing else to say. He just I really gained a lot of respect for the guy. I mean, let's just put it that way. Let's see here. This is from Joe Haddo. Hey, Aaron, what are your thoughts on Jeff Hardy winning the Bound for Glory series? Well, it was definitely a surprise because most were expecting James Storm to win, but at some point TNA decided to go in a different direction. I mean, the original plan was for Bobby Roode, to be the TNA champion and defend against James Storm and have their big rematch, which is still going to happen in Bound for Glory, but not for the title. I'm fine with it as long as Jeff Hardy puts over Austin Aries. If Jeff Hardy wins the title at Bound for Glory, I'm not going to be crazy about that move. I think that you really need to continue focusing on the new talent and Austin Aries. Austin Aries, since he's been TNA World Champion, he hasn't really had a career-defining match. And I think it would really help for him to have a great match at Bound for Glory and beat an established superstar like Jeff Hardy. I think that would do a lot for Austin Aries. And that's what I think should happen. So I'm fine with it as long as, in the end, Aries gets the win and gets the rub off of Jeff Hardy. All right, that'll wrap it up for this edition of No DQ&A video. As I mentioned before, make sure you stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest about Jerry Lawler. We have information updating constantly. Things are always changing, and I continue to wish him nothing but the best. So stay tuned to NoDQ for the very latest, and don't forget about WWE United Champions coverage this coming Sunday, live on pay-per-view. You can check out the coverage at NoDQ.com. I'll see you next time.